The disappearance of Maura Murray. What happened to Maura Murray? It's a question that has haunted investigators, captivated true crime enthusiasts, and stirred endless speculation for nearly 2 decades. Her case isn't just a missing person story. It's a maze of unanswered questions, chilling possibilities, and enduring mystery. In this video, we'll take you deep into the haunting disappearance of Maura Murray, dissecting the evidence, exploring gripping theories, and keeping the discussion alive. Maura Murray was no ordinary college student. At 21, she was pursuing nursing at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. To an outsider, her life might have seemed unremarkable, a driven young woman juggling her studies and relationships. But beneath the surface, things weren't quite so simple. In the days leading up to her disappearance in February 2004, Maura's typically calm life seemed to unravel. She had been involved in an unusual incident at work, used her father's credit card without permission, and appeared distracted around friends and family. However, what truly baffled everyone came after these small cracks in her life, something much larger and far darker. On February 9, 2004, Maura told her professors she'd be away due to a supposed family emergency. The emergency? It didn't exist. With no one the wiser, she emptied her bank account, withdrew $280, packed some of her belongings, and left Amherst. Later that afternoon, she was seen driving along Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a remote area surrounded by dense forests and mountain trails. By 7:30 p.m., her car was found abandoned in a snowbank, airbags deployed, with no sign of Maura. Inside the vehicle, investigators discovered several personal items, including a packed bag, driving directions to Vermont, and an open box of wine. However, her wallet, keys, and phone were missing, notably odd given the circumstances. So where did Maura go, and why? The last confirmed sighting of Maura places her at the scene of the car accident. A resident in a nearby home claims to have spoken to her for only a moment after noticing the crash. Maura, according to the witness, refused help, insisting she had already contacted roadside assistance. But here's the unsettling detail. Phone records later revealed she never made such a call. Roughly 10 minutes later, another witness, a local school bus driver, spotted Maura near the vehicle and offered assistance. She again declined his help, but didn't appear panicked or disoriented. When the bus driver returned home to call authorities, the clock ticked ominously. By the time the police arrived just moments later, Maura had vanished without a trace. There were no footprints leading away from the crash into the frigid, snowy landscape. There was no clear sign of a struggle. It was as though Maura had simply disappeared into thin air. Law enforcement initially treated Maura's disappearance as a runaway scenario. Perhaps she had decided to escape her old life and start anew. However, when no sightings followed and Maura's family insisted she would never abruptly cut contact, doubts began to emerge. Search parties combed the woods surrounding the crash site using helicopters, cadaver dogs, and even advanced thermal imaging. But nothing was found. Not a scrap of clothing, no additional clues, no definitive trail. It was as if the forest had swallowed her whole. Adding to the mystery, Maura's loved ones revealed peculiarities from the weeks prior. Her recent credit card mishap, her behavior during a small campus crash, and her emotional phone call with her sister just days earlier painted the picture of someone struggling, potentially on the verge of a breaking point. Yet, did this turmoil explain her vanishing act? One of the most compelling theories about Maura's disappearance is heartbreakingly simple. After the crash, she might have wandered into the freezing wilderness and succumbed to the elements. The nighttime temperature dipped well below freezing, and someone unprepared could have easily fallen victim to hypothermia. Despite its likelihood, this theory runs into a significant problem: evidence. If Maura died of exposure in nearby woods, why has her body, or even a single item from her possession, not been found? Over the years, countless searches have turned up nothing, casting serious doubt on this possibility. In cases like Maura Murray's, investigators must consider darker possibilities. Was someone else involved in her disappearance? The area where Maura vanished may appear quiet and remote, but it isn't without dangers. Some speculate that Maura may have accepted a ride from a stranger with ill intentions. However, there are no verified reports of suspicious vehicles or individuals near the crash scene that night. On the other hand, some online sleuths suspect individuals in the community, people who might not have raised suspicion at the time, but whose connections to the case remain under scrutiny today. Could someone local have encountered Maura and failed to report it for reasons yet unknown? The theory that sparks the most division is whether Maura intentionally disappeared. By orchestrating her own vanishing act, could she have sought freedom from mounting pressures in her personal life? For proponents of this idea, the evidence can be compelling. Her packed suitcase, recent withdrawal of cash, and oddly determined demeanor in the hours before her disappearance seem less like desperate improvisation and more like calculated choices. Yet, if Maura wanted to vanish, she did so impeccably. No confirmed sightings, no transactions, no phone calls, and no cryptic notes left behind. Her ability to disconnect entirely leads many to reject this theory. After all, how could someone in 2004 disappear so completely without help? Beyond the conventional explanations lies a range of chilling possibilities. Some speculate that Maura may have had an altercation with someone who followed her from Amherst, or that she unknowingly crossed paths with an opportunistic predator. Other theories delve into conspiracies, law enforcement cover-ups, connections to nearby disappearances, and even the involvement of serial offenders who fit patterns surrounding Maura's disappearance. While much of this speculation lacks hard evidence, it highlights the complexity of the case and the pervasive uncertainty surrounding her fate. As the years have passed, Maura Murray's story has drawn the relentless attention of online investigators. Forums, podcasts, and YouTube creators have dissected every detail of her case, from satellite imagery of the crash site to socially driven reconstructions of her potential behavior that night. But for every breakthrough these digital detectives believe they've uncovered, frustrations abound. Differing opinions, distractions, and red herrings can often derail even the most well-meaning efforts. Still, keeping Maura's case in the public eye has served a valuable purpose beyond clicks and theories. Despite the passage of time, Maura Murray's case remains active. Law enforcement, private investigators, and her family continue to explore every lead, no matter how obscure. Advances in technology have provided new opportunities for breakthroughs, from improved forensic capabilities to geotagging remote areas. In recent years, small developments, such as unidentified fragments or updated searches using cutting-edge tools, have reignited hope that closure might be within reach. What makes Maura Murray's disappearance so gripping is the sheer number of unanswered questions. Why did Maura fabricate a family emergency? Was her drive to New Hampshire a spontaneous act or a carefully planned escape? And, most hauntingly, how can someone vanish so utterly despite nearly 2 decades of scrutiny? With so many pieces of the puzzle still missing, the case is an open invitation for fresh speculation and collaboration. That's where you come in, as part of the true crime community. The disappearance of Maura Murray is more than just a mystery to solve. It's a deeply human story of loss and unanswered longing. Behind the theories and speculation is a grieving family still searching for closure and a truth that remains stubbornly elusive. As we leave you with this tale of intrigue and heartbreak, we encourage thoughtful reflection. Could a small, seemingly insignificant clue break this case wide open? Could your perspective offer insight that others have missed? The story's mysteries endure, but perhaps, one day, Maura's haunting shadow will give way to clarity. Until then, we can only keep asking the same question. What happened to Maura Murray?